What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to walk you through 4 quick and easy warm-up and mobility movements that you can do before a lower body session that's really going to help open your body up, get you loose, get you ready to perform the exercises of the day. So without further ado, let's dive into it. All right, the first one that I want to show you is to stretch out your Achilles and your calves. Oftentimes the lower part of your leg is not something that we focus on too much. We'll stretch out the quads and the hamstrings, roll out the IT band, roll out the hips, do things like that, but we're neglecting the very lower part of the leg and ankle area. So the first thing that I want you to do is just some simple 10-second holds, stretching the calves, and really all you need is a wall or a fixed surface that you can put your toes up against. So I'll show you what we're going to do here is just quite simply elevate the toes, put them against the wall, and then lean your body into the wall, and you should feel a stretch all the way coming down your calf. Get to the point where you feel a stretch and stay there, count to 10. Then after 10, you can lean back, rock off that foot, and do the same thing with the other foot. Lean forward till you feel a stretch, hold that for 10 seconds, and do those 10-second holds 2 or 3 times. That's gonna help loosen that area up, and it'll just be a good first step in terms of getting ready for your training session. All right, the second movement that we're gonna do to get you ready for this session is going to be ankle circles. Once again, we're focusing on an area of the legs that probably don't get enough attention. So what I want you to do is just sit on the ground quite simply and take your one leg, cross it over your other leg, and actually grab the top of your foot and your heel and just do some assisted rotations with your ankle. You can do 10 that go clockwise and then 10 that go counterclockwise. And then you can switch legs, do the same over here. And then after you do those, we're gonna do a second set of them, but then I want you to do that with your ankle unassisted, okay? So 10 each direction, assisted with your hands, and then 10 unassisted where you are rotating your ankle just with your ankle. Okay, the third movement that I want you to do to get ready for this lower body session, we are going to stretch out and open up the hip flexors a little bit. And how we're gonna do this is you're gonna get into a stance that I'm in right now. So you're gonna have one foot in front of you, your knee about a 90-degree angle, okay? And then your other knee behind you with your foot out to the back. And what I want you to focus on doing is get your torso upright so that your torso and your back leg all the way down to your knee are more or less in a straight line. And simply, I want you to just think of thrusting this hip forward to the wall in front of you. Okay, nothing overly like this. We're not trying to lean into it. Putting our hands here and thinking about moving this hip just slightly forward. You're gonna flex your glute on this side, and that's gonna help you push your hips forward, and you'll feel a stretch here in your hip flexor in the front, okay? And this is the first part. There's a second part to it. So the first part is gonna be 5 seconds, stretching this out by pushing your hips forward. Then after that 5 seconds, we're gonna release, and then I want you to bring your arm up and slightly lean your torso backward, okay? Keep your hand here to keep you stable, but slightly bring yourself backward like this, and that's gonna give you an even bigger stretch on this hip flexor. Then we're gonna switch legs. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. Pushing those hips forward for 5 seconds, then release, then use your arm to lean back just slightly and come back down. And we do that 2 to 3 times. You're not trying to do anything crazy other than feel a stretch on your hip flexor, okay? So just a very slight stretch, but it's gonna help open up your hips a little bit and get you ready to move a bit more freely if tight hips is something that you struggle with. Okay, the fourth and final movement here, we're gonna be using a foam roller, okay? So your gym probably has one of these. If you don't know where it is, ask somebody at your gym where it's located. But the foam roller is something that can really help with the IT band area. And now what most people do with a foam roller is just simply roll back and forth on it like this. But that's not really getting the most out of the foam roller and how it can help you with your IT band and just the overall connection from your hip to your knee down to your ankle. I do want you to roll back and forth on this, but we're going to do it in a more calculated way, okay? So what I want you to do is get up on the foam roller, find an area on your leg where you feel it being kind of tender on the outside, and we're going to stay on that point. And what I want you to do is actually flex your knee to bring your leg back towards your body and then back forward, okay? Because your IT band helps your leg do a lot more than just one plane of motion. So by getting on this foam roller, sitting on pressure points where you feel it being tender and flexing your leg, you're going to be working more of the movement patterns of your overall leg, and it's going to really, really help loosen up that IT band. So again, we're gonna get on a tender spot, I'm gonna flex that leg, do this 5 times, and then we roll a little bit more till we find another tender spot. And then we're gonna flex again, okay? And I want you to do this 4 or 5 times all the way up the side of your leg. And then you're gonna do it on the other side as well. Now, what I'm showing you here is I have this back leg supporting me, okay? If you've never done this before, you're probably gonna wanna have your back leg back here to support you so that you're able to be stable and stay on this and also not have too much pressure on your leg, because if you've never done this before, it can be super painful. So that's something to think about. But how you can progress is you could start with your leg here, and then over time, as you get used to it, you can bring your leg on the front. That's gonna put a little bit more body weight onto the leg that's on the foam roller. Okay, so I add a little more pressure. That's the second progression. And then the third one is you have your legs like, this leg is gonna be above your leg, and all the body weight that you have is going to be onto this foam roller, and you'll be flexing your leg. So that's kind of the progression. Start here, move to here once you get comfortable with the first progression, and then once you get comfortable with this progression, you're gonna come up to here. Okay, so you're gonna do that on both legs. And after doing these four movements, you should be in pretty good shape to get started with your lower body day. So if you ever have any problems with ankle tightness, knee tightness, hip tightness, try these, see how they help. They may really help you get off to a better start. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help you further. And yeah, good luck. Happy training.